Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Ebony. I am a human design expert and coach, and on this channel we talk about human design along with, other things maybe. First thing, I do have a giveaway going, so if you have not entered my giveaway, go ahead and check my last video. It should be my last video. It's there. So if you would like to enter the giveaway, all the information is in the giveaway video. Just go ahead and watch that. If you would like to work with me, get a reading with me, coaching with me, all of that information will be in the description box below. And on that note, let's get started. So, I have notes. Again, today we're going to be talking about the variables. Your variables are the top arrows. Your variables are the arrows at the top of your chart. That's what I meant to say. Each arrow corresponds to a different part of your design. And we're not going to go through every single facet of every single arrow, but it is going to be a general overview just so you know what they are, what they mean, how they work, things like that. Yes, let's go ahead and jump in. So, your variables are just another layer to your human design. Like I mentioned before, your energy type is about 90% of really mastering your design, so I always recommend that people start with that. But once you go deeper into the layers, you start to be able to understand yourself a lot more, because every piece of information just adds to the picture of who you are. So the variables are just another layer of that information, and they represent how you take in and process information. They also tell you how you can create an environment that will support you energetically, what environment that you thrive in, what environment you should try to put yourself in most of the time. Before diving, I said this before, mastering your energy type and your authority are the primary things that I recommend for everyone to do, especially before diving into the other layers of your chart. Before you go adding in all of this other stuff, it's great, it's wonderful, and it's great to learn about. I really recommend that you have a grasp, a good solid foundation, and you master your energy type and your authority first. That being said, you don't have to listen to me. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. These are just my recommendations. So to find, to go really deep into your variables, you are going to need a more advanced version of your human design chart. If you go to mybodygraph.com, you will see the arrows there, but it's not going to tell you, your color, your base, your tone, all of these things that you need to know in order to be able to dive deeply into your chart. So the site that I recommend is geneticmatrix.com. I'll link that down below too. And that will give you a more comprehensive version of your chart that has all the information you'll need about your variables. So the left two arrows on your chart correspond to I have to see it in my head. Yeah. The left two arrows on your chart correspond to the unconscious part of your design. So things that you are not conscious of within yourself. And this also corresponds to your digestion, how you take in food, but also how you take in information. The right two arrows are part of the conscious part of your design, and those are your awareness arrows. That's how you process the information that you take in. The bottom arrows, so there's top arrows and then there's bottom arrows. The bottom arrows are the foundational arrows. You want to align with these first, and once you get a solid foundation with the bottom arrows, the top arrows will kind of fall into place, because those are the independent variables. The top arrows are the dependent variables, and in order to see the most benefit from utilizing these variables, it's important to have a solid foundation with the bottom arrows first. So what I did when I first started diving deeply into my variables is I went bottom left, bottom right, top left, top right. So I kind of went like a Z, basically, but starting from the bottom. So that way you're doing the independent variables first, and then you're going digestion and then awareness. That's just what I did. You don't have to if you don't want to. You like I said, these are just my recommendations. This is just my opinion. This is my interpretation. This is how I would do things. You can do whatever you want. It's just my 2 cents. And if you're on my channel, then you want to know what my 2 cents is. So here we are. Okay, so now you'll see that the arrows, the variables is what they're called. They are each pointing in different directions. Or if you're one of the fairly rare people in the world who have all of your arrows pointing in one direction, then you have all your arrows pointing in one direction. So arrows pointing to the left represent more structured, more detailed, more masculine energy. The arrows that are pointing to the right represent more passive, more flowy, more receptive, more feminine energy. So now we're going to go through each variable, and I'm just going to touch on what they represent. Like I said, we're not going to go super deep into every single variable. I might make a video going into each variable. I know for sure if I haven't already made it, I'm going to make a video about the top left arrow, because a lot of people wanted to learn about PHS, and part of PHS is determined I'm gonna make a video about the top left arrow. That's all you need to know. But I might do the other variables too. I mean, if I'm gonna do one, why not do all of them? We'll see. So we're just kind of gonna give a general overview of each arrow. So the top left arrow represents your consistency and your digestion. This is where we see how good is it for you to have a routine. If your top left arrow points to the left, then you like routine, you like consistency. If it points to the right, you're more of a flow-based person, and having a set routine is not great for you because you enjoy your freedom. This is also where you get to digestion. If your arrow points to the left, you do not like to be hungry. You don't like to be hungry. It's not good for you. If your arrow points to the right, you are more flow-based when it comes to taking in food. You don't have to constantly be eating all the time. That can actually be detrimental to your ability to focus and function. So, top left arrow, digestion and consistency. Your bottom left arrow represents your environment and your discipline and your cognition, which is your most heightened sense. Your environment becomes so much more important after your Saturn return around the ages of 29 or 30. So if your arrow points to the left, then you are more active in your environment. It's not really healthy for you to always be sitting still or like not doing things. You are meant to be more active in your environment, and you're probably more comfortable being observed by people rather than watching people do things. So rather than being the watcher, you are the one being watched. If your arrow points to the right, then you are more passive in your environment. You don't really want to be the one that's doing things. You're much more comfortable watching other people do things. And when it comes to environment, there's different environments like in shores, markets, kitchens that tell you specifically what kind of environment you would thrive in. We're not going to go into all of those in this video because it would take far too long. But like I said, we'll see. I might make a video on it. We'll see. So moving on to your top right arrow, this is your motivation, your focus, and your sense. So if your arrow is pointing to the right, this means you have a focused mind. You take in the details of situations. When you're in a situation, you see the details. That is your thing. If your arrow points to the right, you have a more receptive mind, which means you take in absolutely everything. And in order to access that information, people need to ask you questions because you're taking in absolutely everything, you have a little bit of trouble accessing it. So you might not remember all the details of the situation, but you will know how you felt in that situation. That you can explain, but you wouldn't be able to be like, oh yeah, this is what happened, and this is what she was wearing, and that's not your thing. But you will remember how you felt. You will remember how that situation made you feel. And if someone asks you specific questions about the situation, you'll be able to pull that information out. So your bottom right arrow is where we get into your perspective of how you view the world. And also this is where people will talk about your manifestation type. If your arrow points to the left, I mix up my left and my right. So if you see me struggling, trying to remember if this is left and this is right, it's because I mix up my right and my left very frequently. Here's what it is. So if your arrow points to the left, this means that you are a specific manifester. When you are bringing something into your physical reality, you want to focus on the details. The details are energizing to you. The details bring you into this sense of peace and make it easier for you to manifest that thing. If your arrow points to the right, you are a non-specific manifester, which means you don't necessarily have to hone in on the details of the thing that you want. You need to hone in on the way that thing is going to make you feel when you have it. And this is actually a pretty heated point of discussion in the human design community, because there are people who will be like, manifestation has nothing to do with human design. And those people are technically right. And then there's people who say things like, if you're a non-specific manifester, you don't need to manifest specific things, just focus on feeling. Those people are also kind of right. There's so many different ways to look at it and so many different opinions. It gets a little bit murky. The important thing in all of these situations is what feels right for you. So I'm never going to tell you if you're a specific manifester, if you're a non-specific manifester, you can't manifest specific things, because I don't believe that to be true. I'm never going to tell you that you can't do something. You can do anything. You can do whatever the hell you want. You're a limitless, spiritual being. It's a matter of what feels right for you. So, like I said, I might do a manifestation video through the lens of human design, but I do want to do it in a way that isn't limiting for anyone, because I'm not trying to limit anyone in any way when it comes to human design. That's not what I'm about. So, those are the variables. That's a general overview of the variables and how they work within the confines of your design. If you would like to go deeper into your variables, if you would like to work with me in terms of, discovering your variables and figuring out what they are, go ahead and check the link in my description box. Check out my services. They are 20% off for the next 2 weeks. Make sure you join the giveaway, because I'm giving away, I think, 5 50% discount coupon codes. So that's an option if you really want to work with me. What else? That's it. I think that's it. I hope this video was helpful for you, and I will see you in the next one.